Are we connected?
Yes, we are live. If you see me go dark, it's because I'm just sharing, okay?
But I don't see the link on
It
my end.
just
Good night, everybody. Welcome to the Women's Ministry Friday Night Live. Continue to like and share the broadcast. I just want to give everybody a few minutes to like and share the broadcast before we get more into introduction. So, welcome everyone and continue to like and share the broadcast.
yes, like and share the broadcast. This is a very important session. I think you're going to I think you should actually make it an issue to invite all the men in your family, invite your fathers, invite your uncles, your brothers, invite your sons, your nephews. They would need to be a part of this session. We are talking about men's health. Make sure your husbands are locked on.
Yes, I'm excited. I can't wait, but I want to give everybody a few more minutes before we explain a little bit more so we don't have to go back track and explain some more. But this is very exciting for us. It's very important.
Mhm.
Something men tend not to look so much into
Yeah.
men's health.
Mhm.
So, like Sister Janelle said, if you know anybody, any men in your family, pull them close, share the broadcast with them. This is very important. And this is something that should not be neglected.
And I know you wives out there could relate to me when you tell your husbands, come and go for a checkup, the challenges that you face. So ensure that your husbands are next to you. They need to be a part of this session, men's health. Amen.
Yes, amen. Amen. Just checking something quickly on my end. I'm not seeing it on Facebook.
Okay. I just see that. Blessings, blessings, everyone. Thanks for joining us this evening. Like and share the broadcast. Come in on this Friday. This Friday night is, as always, the best place to be. The only sweetest lime on a Fridays with the women's ministry. Sometimes we come with something interesting. Sometimes we come with fun. Sometimes we come with seriousness. This time we're coming with seriousness, something that is a topic where every man and you wives and mothers out there need to hear. Every woman, everybody should be interested in hearing about this topic this evening about men's health because you're raising sons as well. You have nephews, you have fathers. Yeah, so come on in, like and share the broadcast. Come and line with us this evening, this Friday night.
We can never start without you saying that little spiel.
The truth is the best place to be on a Friday night.
Yes, and we have a special guest with us today. We
Mhm.
have Brother Gregory Jackson, who's a part of the Baltimore Church. With us today, he has a lot of nuggets, a lot of information for us to share with us. A lot of things, that is good insight. Because as we all know, Apostle has been talking a lot about, us taking care of our health and watching our health, and we have somebody who has mega testimonies and who has mega information to help us do that. So we just welcome him while we get more people to connect. We just welcome you, Brother Gregory. You got the mute.
Yep. Okay, we got
There
it
you
all.
are.
I feel honored to be asked to speak to you tonight, and it makes me feel like I know something, but this is a sideline that I have thoroughly enjoyed, and that is herbalism and other forms of alternative medicine. So far, I've been my own best customer because I started taking care of myself later in life. Like all young men, you know, when we came along, he could drink the most, was more of a man, supposedly. And that's a wrong way of thinking, but when you get to a certain age, you have to put those things behind you and really examine your life, your goals, and your aspirations, and set a course. And you can't get from one city or one country to another without setting a course and sailing the course true. Now, it started with me kind of young in listening to my own self. I made the varsity football team in high school, and I was second string. Well, as hard as I worked, I wanted to be first string. And they said, don't worry, you'll get to play. But I went home and had a dream that night. And the dream said, you're going to live to be an old man. And if you can remember a football player, Jim Brown, he used to run and jump over people, and I emulated him and did the same. But they were out to get him, you know, in football games to bring him to a halt. And I thought that would happen to me too. And some of my teammates were already broken up and limping and walking like Clydesdales, you know. So I went to school the very next day and quit the team. I don't want to be all broke up when I get old. So I'm halfway there, but I became a landscaper and had 6 men working full time. But in that interim, you learn the cycle of plants. You learn that in the spring, certain things happen in plants. And when you want medicinal value, you can get it out of the leaves and the shoots and so forth. And in the fall, when winter is coming on, the plants draw in their energy, and the energy goes down to the root of the plant. So if you're going to get medicinal benefit from the plant, you go to the root. Now, that gives you knowledge about the cycle of plants. And I would be working in very, how can I say, exclusive neighborhoods. And these people had maids. Well, the maids came from down south. So in the spring of the year, they knew what to come out and pick and so forth. And I would watch them and go over and talk to them and say, hey, what's this for? And what's that for? And they said, well, this one is good for cleaning out in the spring. And this one also is good in the spring, but you have to pick it at a certain time because it's poisonous when it gets too old. I went, oh boy. So I was halfway scared of that one, you know? And that got me into herbalism, in that I met a guy who opened up Smile Herb Shop up in College Park. And he was young and I was young, and I went and bought a book on herbalism and read it from cover to cover and said, these herbs are interesting. So I thought I would experiment on myself. And if you caught a cold, you went and got a combination and cold got better. I wonder what else I can do with this, you know? So the neighbors found out, and there were 3 kids next door. The lady was babysitting, and all of them were in bed with a cold. and I mixed up a little formula and I cut it for the youth. You know, herbal plants are not toxic to children, but you don't want to give it to them full strength, you know? So I cut it down and gave it to the kids. And the next day, all of them were up playing, and she told everybody. Well, people from the neighborhood are getting the word, and then when I get home, from work, you know, I was a landscaper, so they would knock on the door. Hey, I got a little, and come over and get a little information. And I said, okay. And next thing you know, it was about 8, 10 people I was treating. Well, then I started taking on heart patients. And, you know, to me, it was a learning experience, but I was married at the time, and my wife said, wait a minute, you're practicing medicine without a license, and they'll sue you and take your house away if anything happens to that old lady. I said, okay. Well, she had heart problems, and one of the herbs was foxglove. And in the medical industry, they use digitalis, and they make it from foxglove. And so I gave her a little potion with foxglove in it. And so she said, you know, I feel so much better. I'm gonna quit taking my doctor's medicine. I said, oh, don't do that. Keep taking it. And so she was taking it, and I was getting scared to deal with her. So part of the ingredient was cayenne pepper. And it's a little warm to the tongue, you know? So I increased the cayenne, and she said, it works fine, but next time don't make it so hot, you know? So I thought, okay. But anyway, I sort of begged out of treating the lady, and she was coming back religiously wanting more, but I was scared if anything happened to her, you know, they might come after me, you know, and sue me if anything happens to the lady. And I said, oh boy, I'm in a Dill's pickle here. So I went to work with another agency, so I wasn't able to landscape anymore. But when I retired, I went to school for 3 years at the Mid-Atlantic School of Herbalism, and yeah, it's costs a little money too, but like I said, I've been my best patient myself because I've had cancer twice, and most guys don't take care of themselves, but I jumped on it early. And I mean, I met, you know, guys who died with prostate cancer, and well, in fact, some of my friends, and I didn't want to go that route, but I looked at their treatment, and the one thing that they wanted to do was give you a biopsy. And when you get a biopsy, they go in, cut some of the tissue, and look at it under a microscope, so forth and so on, tell you what stage you're in and all that. Well, I refuse that, because normally when you biopsy, it breaks the capsulation of the tumor and it spreads. And that's what happened to a lot of them, you know, they died from it because they got biopsied. To me, you know, I don't have any definitive proof on that, but I didn't want a biopsy. And they came up with certain treatments, like I did mild radiation, but I wasn't going to do chemo, because chemo destroys your immune system when you need your immune system to fight cancer. And I looked at alternative herbal ways, but then I found out about other treatments like ozone therapy. This is where they take a little of your blood out of your body and mix it with ozone. Now, ozone is oxygen. Like the air you breathe is O2, but ozone is O3. And they mix your blood with it and put it back in your body, and cancer does not like oxygen in the O3 form. So I defeated cancer, and you know, for a while I lived like a monk in a monastery. You know, I did everything I was supposed to do, but you go down the road a little bit and you get overconfident and you fall right back into the same old groove that you were in, you know, and reluctantly I came down with cancer again. I went, oh man. So they came up. This is how the doctor told me. Do you want to check in the hospice? I said, no, I don't. I said, the fight just begun, you know? And I went and did herbal formulas. I did ozone, did a little acupuncture. And I was trying to think what else I did. But the main thing that you can do is eat correctly. And juicing is a form of concentrated eating. So basically it was carrots, cucumbers, beets, and not all the time beets, but carrots, cucumbers, and celery. Let's see. Well, anyway, you do it in the juice form and you work beets into it. And you do that regime. Cancer cannot take proper nutrition. It'll back up, and there's certain herbs that you can take that prevent tumors from getting new blood cells, like curcumin, that's in turmeric. And this is how you not only slow the cancer down, but you can stop it, because if it can't form new blood cells, cancer cells cannot live, because they live off of your blood cells. And so when you pull the full regime of herbal therapy, juicing, ozone therapy, and a little acupuncture, you can win. And, you know, most people want to listen to their doctors, but my doctors and I fight all the time, and they say, well, okay. And they'll say, come and see me in 3 months. And what they do is look at your count, you know, and, oh, your count's up to 100. Well, it was at 3,000 one time, so it's down to 100, huh? Something's working right, you know. So, you know, they couldn't complain because it was working, you know, by their measurement. So that's the importance of doing the right thing. But let me get into eating organic and why it's important. In the 1950s, my uncle had a farm, and he kept 3 horses, used horse manure and added other nutrients to his soil, and all of his produce was the way farmers grew things then. All farmers, you know, the food was good. And about 1955, they came up with, all you got to do is add these chemicals. You don't need to add the manure. And my uncle was reluctant to give out the practices that he had done. So he stayed back while a lot of the new farmers, they went on and used the chemicals. So then it was only phosphorus, nitrogen, and potash, those three things. And he was amazed. They had a yield so good that he switched. He said, you know, they were making much more money than he was. So he switched because you got to go for the money. Farming is rough, you know. I picked tomatoes just for one summer, 10 cents a bushel. I worked all morning and earned $1. I said, man, you can forget this. I ain't doing farming, you know. And everybody's using the chemicals, but it was only the fertilizer then. Then a little while later, they invented a form of farming they call no-till farming. In other words, all you got to do is put the fungicides on it, the herbicides on it, so the grass won't grow, and fungicide, herbicides, and it's another one they spray on it. Oh, insecticide. So insects won't come. So you got fungicides, herbicides, and insecticides on your modern day farms now. Well, when my uncle was using horse manure and a few other minerals, you would go in the field and see so many bugs, but you would see praying mantis and this and that and the other. And, you know, I ran back to the house and got a jar and started collecting insects because I could use them fishing, you know. And nowadays, you go into a field and there's nothing in there. Every now and then you see a bird fly through, but there are no bugs. You can dig in the ground. There are no worms, because worms can't live in that. And this is what we call food now. And also, the seeds that they use have to be genetically modified, because if you use a regular seed, you know, in something that's been sprayed with herbicide, it just won't grow. So this is the food that you find in your major food outlets. And I can't call names because I might get sued, you know. But this is the food that they present to you, you know. Eat this. Well, first of all, there were no scientific studies on genetically modified food. So you don't know what it's doing to you. Now, so now we don't know the outcome of this. They've only been using it about 50 or 60 years, but you know, people are living longer lives, but the food it's being tested. It's not as nutritious as organically grown food. So this is why you need to eat organic when possible. Now, when you go to a restaurant, don't think you're getting organic food unless it's an organic restaurant. And they're buying the cheapest food that they can find. And the price of food now is ridiculous in a restaurant or something like that. You know, sit down, okay, it's just me, $60 for a meal. Oh boy. And, you know, the nutrition is not there because it's chemically grown, sprayed with fungicides, herbicides, and all of these things are what you call neurodisruptors. In other words, they disrupt your nervous system. So you get a lot of people with allergies. And as a matter of fact, one of the things you can do is get tested for allergies, because, people are suffering and they don't know why. But it's not only in the food, because the plastics, sister and I were just talking about the plastics in your water. You get water from the store, you have it in your car on a 90-degree day, the plastics just explode in the water and you're drinking plastic. It goes to the kidney and the liver. And that, they say it messes with males' reproductive organs, but it messes with the females' reproductive organs. Speaking of which, I'm gonna switch horses in the middle of the stream again, and I'm gonna get on something else, doggone it, but you got me on a roll down. 5G. You can look at the studies that have been done. There's been 10,000 studies done on 5G, and it's harmful to the human body, especially children. 2 minutes on a cell phone upside your head, and you are disrupted for quite a while, or a couple of hours in your thinking. And it's worse for kids because their skulls are still forming. And when you're an adult, you're a bonehead. But when you're a kid, you're a cartilage head. Make any sense? And that's the world we live in. But nope, I'm going to change horses again in the middle of the stream. We get into chemical pollution. The chemicals, like a lot of people have a garage inside their house. They got the car in there. They got stuff for the cars in there, cleaning supplies in there. And when they open the door to come from the garage into the house, they're bringing the chemicals in. And people with super chemical sensitivity, they don't know what's happening because they react to it. The chemicals should be stored away from the house. In the backyard, you can buy a little closet or a little shed or something, but a lot of houses have attached garages, and they suffer greatly. Not only that, you buy a new piece of furniture and it's glued together. The glue or the carpet releases chemicals for 3 years in your house. So yeah, we're surrounded by pollution. And some of the things we can get out of. For instance, green vegetables are called chelating vegetables. Chelating means they take heavy metals out of your body. But there's a therapy called chelation therapy, where they inject EDTA, which is a negative ion, and it goes in your bloodstream and bonds with the positive metal ions, and they come out in your urine. Well, I went and got chelation therapy, 5 treatments, and I didn't feel any different. But I said, I'm wondering, if this is benefiting me at all. But then I was in bed and I looked up at the television and I could read the TV guide. I've never been able to do that, you know? Like, I said, wait a minute, where's my glasses? And chelation therapy bonds with the heavy metals in your body, and it takes it out through your urine. But the side effects, your hearing improves, your sense of taste improves, your sense of smell improves, the plaque in your arteries go away. It bonds with the plaque in your arteries, and it carries it out through your urine. It goes away. So by your blood vessels opening up, even in the brain, it clears up the plaque in your brain, because after all, living all these years, the heavy metals get into your brain as well. Well, your hearing improves, your eyesight improves, your sense of smell improves, your sense of taste improves. The plaque in your arteries open up, so your arteries open up and get more blood, and your brain gets fed a little better. So your memory improves, your eyesight improves. Gee, that was proof to me. I didn't realize it was happening, but you know, that's chelation therapy for you. I was thinking about it. It's time for me to get. It's been about 10 years since I've gotten some. I think about better do that again, you know, because I could use it. Eyesight improvement. You know, if you have arthritis, that will subside. So it clears your joints, your blood vessels. Yeah, you can use it. Let's see. Well, first of all, any questions? I've been on a roll here, but I didn't take a pause for the cause. In the meantime, I'll keep on going a little bit. I got into plastic, 5G. Oh, okay. Another thing that is a neuro disruptor. Remember how the meter man used to have to come and read your meter? Now it's electronic. And that electronic meter affects people the same way the modem in your computer. You know, people don't cut their modems off at night. And especially if you live in an apartment building, you know, everybody's got their modem on all night long. I used to live way down in Virginia, and I'd cut my modem off every night, you know, and cut it back on when I get ready to use computer, because all the information just piles up. It'll download, you know. But, you know, around here, nah, people don't do it, you know. And that's another thing that disturbs your nervous system. So with all of these things that are affecting adults, it's worse on kids. It is worse on kids. So, moderator, how am I doing on time here? Anyway, if you have any questions, but I would
I'm
like
talking.
to.
Sorry, I was on mute. I was telling you you're good for time. We're listening. We're taking notes. You're good for time. There's no questions yet. Continue.
All right. Well, let me give you some contact information for cutting edge information on health and fitness. There's a show that comes on every day from noon to 1 o'clock during the week. It's called The Gary Null Show, GaryNull. And if you go to GaryNull.com, you can get a lot of information, a lot of articles. He's He's done thousands of articles, documentaries, and so forth. But he's like a guru in my eyes, and I kind of use his information as gospel. You can also go to prn.live and look at it on your computer, 12 noon to 1 o'clock weekdays, or prn.fm.org. Then you can go to the telephone and you can call and listen to the live show on your cell phone. This is what I do a lot because I'm usually on the road running around somewhere. But if you want to listen to the show live during the week, 12 noon to 1 o'clock, you can call 1-608-562-5119. And that's during the week, Monday through Friday. And that line is on 24 hours for different shows on his network. He has a whole network of shows. You might get into them, you might not. You can go up there and take a look at it and see on GarrettNull.com if you want to take a look at it. Now, if you want to listen to his past shows for 5 shows back, up to 5 shows back, you can call this number. They call it the archive line, and it's 1-605-615-4010. And that's 24/7. It's a 24/7 line. 1-605-615-4010. Or if you'd like to contact me and get a consultation, my number is 301-873-0663. 301-873-0663. And that's how you can contact with me. Also, I run a fishing club. You want to go fishing? Hey, give me a shout. Now, let's get into building health. And what will you do? You know, because when I first said, well, you know, we want to give a little talk on health and fitness. Well, I said, okay. But they wanted, when I came up and spoke this evening, they said, well, we want to hear about you. You know, you had cancer twice. I said, yep. But now let's start at the beginning. And that's before life begins. If you're thinking about pregnant or are pregnant, detox first. And by eating green vegetables, you can, you know, get rid of a lot of heavy metals. I wouldn't recommend doing chelation therapy during pregnancy because I don't know the outcome of that. But, you know, there's some things you can do. In my practice, I sell green stuff, and this is 20 different vegetables. And it's green vegetables and kind of powerful. And this is red stuff. This, I forget how many red fruit it is, but the fruit is all red and it's properly prepared. And the combination of these two, I gave to my mother in a nursing home. And she was getting a little feeble, falling. Her hands were shaking like this, and her head was shaking like this. In a week and a half, it stopped. As you age, your digestion changes. you can no longer extract the nutrients from food the way you used to when you were younger. And this is why juicing organic juices is powerful for aging. You can keep it, or you can freeze it, but if you keep it in the fridge longer than 3 days, you're losing potency every day, because these are live enzymes. And if you've ever heard of the Hunza, who live in the Himalayas, they stop work at 100 years old. And they usually live until 120. But the 80, 90, and 100-year-olds are still working with the 40 and 50-year-olds, because that's a rugged lifestyle up there in the mountains, but they attributed their capability to the minerals in the water. So aging is a situation where you want to get the best nutrition and minerals you can. So in these 2 supplements I just showed you, I think you can do it. And it's had a beneficial effect on me. And we also have multivitamins. And hey, ladies who are pregnant, they pack everything they can into this, you know. Then you have antioxidants. This is called the super antioxidant. And if you have aches and pains from arthritis or inflammation, you want something like that. Then you get around to vitamin C. This is super vitamin C. Supreme C Extra, that's what they call it. And you can't go wrong with vitamin C. As a matter of fact, if you overdose on vitamin C, it'll send you to the bathroom. But that's not a bad consequence, because quite a few people need to go. All right, then let's say you have high blood pressure. Calcium and magnesium. Calcium, magnesium, and a few other things are missing in the soil all across America, because the farmers are using these chemicals. And you know, there's a difficulty in getting proper calcium and magnesium. So you have to supplement almost, because you just don't get it in food. And one final thing, well, this is not the final thing, but this is energy stuff. Who needs energy? When I'm going on a long fishing trip, you know, we'll be out on the water for 24 hours, you know, hey, take a little energy stuff and keep rolling. I don't eat, you know, much flesh at all, but I catch my fish. I like it, you know. And for the ladies, this is the Ageless Answer. This is a facial a skin cream that nourishes the skin and keeps you wrinkle free. And you can, you know, at first it was created for the face, but people say, well, you know, I got bad elbows, you know. Hey, put it on your elbows. Aging is what they say in medicine is a drying process. In other words, when you age, you dry out. And this is why water is so critical to older people. And, you know, they tend to lose the want to drink water. They say, I drink a little Kool-Aid, little grape juice or something, you know, but there's no substitute for water. And if you're drying out, it shows first in your skin, your largest organ. So this ageless answer, you can use anywhere on your body, but if you want to look good, hey, I had a rough time with it, but it's doing okay for me. You know, I'm not gonna say I look good, but I'm better than I was. Anyway, since you don't have any questions, I mean, like, I think I've been going on a while. I don't know how long, but I appreciate the opportunity to come out and talk to you. And I had a kick out of it. And if you have any questions, give me a call. Okay, what now? Okay. Hello.
I was waiting on somebody to put me back in. I can't do it myself.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, but thank you so much, Brother Gregory, for that. I was trying to keep up with all my little.
Yeah, I hope you can use something.
Yes, yes, yes. We always, like Sister Janelle and I, we always talk and say, we always get, you know, we announce that these platforms are for the people, but we also are taking notes and we also, you know, get a lot of information from it. Like, you know, how you mentioned for women who are trying to conceive that it's important to detox first. You know,
Yeah.
that just was like, oh, wow, that's good. You know, because of course, you know, we have a lot of people in the ministry who are trying to, and that makes sense. You know, like sometimes you know, so worried about conceiving, you think of other things, but you don't think of getting to the, you know, the root of it first, making sure you have, you know, that balance and, you know, your body ready to, you know, receive, you know, ready to be able to, you know, have a healthy baby. But I could go on and on. I'm gonna let my sister get a chance to chime in, and then I have a couple things that I wanted to say about what you were talking about.
Okay.
Mr. Jackson, I want to thank you so much for taking the time out of your schedule to share with us. It was really an informative session. Yes, Minister Divina, I have so much notes and, you know, I have a few questions as well.
I know.
I'll share as well. I too am a survivor. I was healed, breast cancer survivor. God healed me from stage 3 cancer, and I too changed my lifestyle and has gone to the holistic herbal way as opposed to taking chemo. I did no radiation, even though they wanted me to. I sat down one day on the chair for chemo and never went back because to me, that is so I could relate to what you're saying in terms of eating healthy and changing in lifestyle and, you know, some of the things that you mentioned as well. But one thing, one question I have, if I can go ahead, Minister Divina.
Yes.
How do you prepare the foxglove and the cayenne pepper? Is it a bush that you boil and you add the cayenne pepper and you drink it like a tea? How is that prepared? And where can you get this foxglove?
Well, first of all, you have to, it's part of an herbal formula, and it's more than foxglove and cayenne. But yeah, it's some other herbs as well.
Okay,
and you know, you kind of have to familiarize yourself with herbs and learn how to use them.
Right.
A root you have to boil for 15 to 20 minutes.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah.
But a leaf, you can just saturate it for 10 minutes or so. You know, just let it hang in hot water like a tea bag for 20 minutes and then strain it out. And for a sweetener, you can use honey, but I always like maple syrup because maple syrup is good for the liver. So, you know, this nanoplastics and all that, they're hard on the kidneys and the liver.
Okay.
Yeah.
How you feel about agave? What do you think about agave?
Agave is, I used to, it's a lower form of honey.
Yeah.
I don't particularly care about it. I prefer organic maple syrup.
Okay, understood. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've always questioned agave a little bit myself because, okay, people use it as a sugar substitute,
Mm-hmm.
but it also comes from the same plant where they make tequila from.
Yeah.
So I
Exactly.
kind of wonder, you know, no,
Yeah.
just honestly, that kind of, because, there's a thin line between. So you wonder about the nutritional, value
Yeah.
and things of it.
You can
Um,
also use monk fruit. Um, you have to
Fruit.
learn how to use it because it's sweeter than sugar.
yeah, now monk fruit, Brother Jackson, they are using now in the kids' juices, the Capri Suns. If
Mm-hmm.
you notice on the package, it'll say like 25% less sugar, and that's because they're using monk fruit instead of sugar. Now, it does taste a little bit different, but not, like the kids still love it. But they are putting monk fruit in a lot of the children's drinks.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. But I do have another question, but before we get to the question, I just wanted to note two things. Like when you were speaking of the microplastics,
Mm-hmm.
um my daughter recently did a paper on microplastics, and I was just floored by the amount of microplastics that's in everything that we're like consuming. They were putting it like in our toothpaste, in hold on one. I'm so sorry. Sister Janelle, can you take this just 1 second?
Sure. Yes. Okay. Mr. Jackson, we had one question in the comments. Someone asked how to, if you can specify or give some advice on to how to lose weight. What they can use, or different herbs that they can use to help lose weight.
Yeah, tell them give me a call. It depends because first of all, you can start by detoxing, and there's certain teas that you can take that will empty the colon and so forth. And even people, um, can do what they call intermittent fasting, and
Yes.
that is, let's say you eat your last meal at 6 o'clock in the evening. Well, you don't eat anything until about 9 o'clock. That'll give you 15 hours in
Yeah.
between meals, and that allows your system to clear itself.
Yeah. Okay. Uh, Um,
Okay. I'm back. Sorry about that.
that's okay. Go ahead.
Solicitors, okay? And it scared me half to death. But anyway, like I was saying, when he talked about microplastics are in everything like that. They put them in cosmetics. They're like they leach through the water bottle. And actually, when these companies are dumping a lot of waste into the ocean, those plastics get broken down. They have larger plastics that are getting broken down, by the waves and stuff like that,
Yep.
and getting into our drinking water. And it was so bad that in 2015, Obama made a law banning the use of microplastics in certain cosmetics and certain things. But companies get around that.
Yeah.
But
Mm-hmm.
it's so high to the point that they did a study where um, it's coming out now that they have found microplastics in every male genitalia that they've tested.
I don't
So
doubt it.
yeah, you heard of that, right?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, and
but
that what that
it's
does is
not
that
only men,
decreases, huh?
not only men.
Yeah, women too, but I'm just saying that see, women go to the doctor more and get, like things taken care of a lot more. So I'm just emphasizing the male part because this is something that males probably don't even consider, and that can decrease the fertility and things like that. That's why I agree with Brother Gregory when he was talking about we have to make sure like we watch the food we're eating, because another thing that you don't think about in the grocery store is the plastic that they're packing the food in and the plastic that they're wrapping the things in, especially if you go home, you go shopping, you get, you know, your produce or your meats wrapped in plastic and you sit them on the counter because you got something else you got to do, and you don't like repackage it or store it a different way. Those plastics are leaking into your food.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yep.
know, yeah, they are leaking into your food. But I also, one last thing, and then I'll let everybody else talk, is he was talking about organic.
Mm-hmm.
There is a way to know, like for those of you guys, if you don't shop at a only organic store, or you know have the luxury of, you know, organic restaurants or organic stores, there's a way, and you might want to grab a pencil. There's a way that you can know when you go to the supermarket if your produce is organic or not. If the produce starts with a 3 or a 4 and is 4 digits, that means it's conventionally grown and has pesticides. Because you know how we pick up the fruit and it has that little sticker with the little number on there?
Yeah.
So if your produce starts with a 9 and it has 5 digits, that means it's organically grown. If the produce starts with an 8 and has 5 digits, that is genetically modified, because now they've passed laws to where you can have genetically modified produce and meat right in the middle of the other stuff in the grocery store. And they don't have to, you know, they don't have to say anything. They just have to put the code. And there's a little rhyme to help you know this. If it's 4, it's a bore. That means it has pesticide. If
Mm-hmm.
it's 9, it's all mine. That means it's organic. You can have it. And if it's 8, it's the one I hate,
I love it.
because 8 is genetically modified.
Yeah.
So that's, you guys can play that part back. That's just a way to know when you go in the grocery store, because I know Brother Gregory, he has the luxury of going to, you know, he only goes to certain stores, but some people, as you learn and as you're growing, you know, this will get you started.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. This is good.
Oh,
You
one more thing I'd like to add too.
go
Uh,
ahead.
I just found this out. You know, they have what they call plant-based meats now.
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
they call it Beyond Meat and all that.
Yes.
Um, Bill Gates and the boys put that together, and I'm not going to give it to anybody no more. I used to get it for free and give it away, but I'm not giving it to nobody now, because that's who's behind it, Bill Gates and the billionaires.
Mm.
Yeah, and we just have to be mindful of our food too. Um, on that topic that you said too, now the food that they're producing, pay attention, because it either doesn't have seeds or doesn't have many seeds,
Love.
because they don't want you to grow your own produce. They want
That's
you to be
it.
dependent on purchasing produce. You
Yep.
know, so pay attention, because people think, oh, it's more convenient, you know, to have products with less seeds, but it's not more healthy,
Yeah.
you know. So just make sure you're paying attention to that. And I mentioned one day, Brother Gregory, on the one of the sessions we were at, I had some lemons in a Ziploc bag on my table. And I didn't do this on purpose, but I had left them there. They were there for a couple weeks because I buy produce, you know, at markets, and they were there. But as I began to look at them, I noticed they were not spoiling.
Uh-oh.
So I decided I'm going to keep them there
See how long?
until they spoil.
Hmm.
That was like in February. I threw those lemons away last week.
Wow.
They didn't even get a blemish or a bruise or a soft spot or a mold or anything until last week.
Wow.
Where'd you get them?
from a market, like a little farmer's market. But I told myself as I saw that, I'm like, I'm not eating those, because it stayed yellow, it stayed,
Yep.
and that's what we need to watch, because they put a lot of wax and chemicals on our fruit too, to keep them looking nice, but we shouldn't be eating that.
It's true. That's true. Wow.
And I can go on and on about this, but I'm learning. I'm learning and trying to, pay attention to different things too, just like when you go to get a burger.
Yeah.
If you notice, if you get a burger from McDonald's, you could leave that burger in your car, leave that burger somewhere, and see if it gets mold on it. See if the cheese molds or changes color or anything. It doesn't.
Yeah, you don't need that.
I know, I'm just trying to give them examples, do the test, and I'll tell you, it won't mold. It won't mold, and we have to be careful. And that stuff we're putting in our bodies, we're putting in our kids' bodies, that's taking away, their brain function, different things like that. And we have to, we just have to be careful of that, And you mentioned water too. Our brains and our body is like 75% water. When we don't have water to our brains, that decreases your mood and your brain function.
And the overall health of your skin. You remember, your hair and your skin needs this water,
Yeah. And he mentioned magnesium. Magnesium for your mood. People don't realize when you're deficient in magnesium, that affects your mood.
Yes. And a lot
it does.
Some of your aches and pains is because of a lack of magnesium. And you women who go through menstrual cramps and bad menstrual cramps, magnesium helps alleviate those cramps as well.
Yes.
Also, two herbs are black haw, HAW, and cramp bark. They both alleviate menstrual pains.
Okay.
I'm writing it down.
I too.
We always got to take our little notes.
Yeah, too. Mr. Jackson, did you mention anything with reference to high blood sugar?
Well, no, I didn't. But basically, that is a growing thing in America, and I was well, my A1C went up to 9 one time, and I quit drinking, but I just said, well, that's it. I'm not doing any sugar, and when I had it tested again, it was 5.2. That's the A1C. So I didn't take anything specific for it. I just, one thing I ask, tell people when they come to me, I said, you're digging your grave with a knife and a fork. And that's the truth to most people. And another thing that you should be aware of, if you got the COVID shot or more than one, be alert as to bodily changes that you've gone through, because your body creates the spike virus for a longer time than they even admit. They said it would stay in your arm. It doesn't. And it replicates itself in your body.
Boil some pineapple skin for that bromelain. No, seriously, because that defeats spike protein.
Yeah.
Okay, bromelain is good for a lot of things, arthritis and stuff like that, but I didn't know it was good for spike protein.
Yeah, they're starting to say that it is in a combination with another one that I can't pronounce, but Sister Marcy probably has the name. It begins with the N.
Is it the Buddha?
The don't get me to saying it wrong. But there's certain ones that, that help. You know what I mean? We wouldn't say that it would be, necessarily like wipe it all out, but it does help. And you mentioned juicing, because a lot of times, like when I juice, I like to juice the skins too. Like after you get, the skins off, and I make another batch where you just grind up the skins and then just take it in a smaller, like a shot, because it's not as pleasant tasting as, just juicing like the whole part or the whole pineapple. But I try to do that too when you can, or when it's in season,
Okay.
Yeah, I've never juiced a whole pineapple though.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I cut the skin off. But
Yeah.
I'm sure it's got something in it, but the center of the pineapple has the bromelain.
The core, yes.
Yeah, I just do the whole thing. Well, and they say the skin, they call it like a pineapple tea, like you can boil it and drink it. They say that has health benefits too. It's just basically just less waste. You know what I mean? Just making sure you use the whole thing. That's all.
Yeah.
Boil the skins.
Huh?
I would usually boil the core of the pineapple with the skin itself and put it in the fridge to cool and drink it as water.
Yeah, I do too, with no sugar or anything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, if you get a chance, juice beets, that they're very beneficial. Don't get scared that it'll turn your stool and urine red, but it won't hurt you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like to do that too. My daughter, it kind of gave her a little fright the first couple of times. I gave it to her.
Yeah.
She thought something was really wrong. But it does, like, I have a story about that too. Like, the last couple of weeks, I haven't been feeling the best. And I was thinking, like, I felt like I wasn't getting hydrated enough. I don't know what. But the moment I drank, like, beet and orange juice for like 2 or 3 days, then I felt better. Like, nothing else was quenching it, or, felt like it was getting me to feel better. But once I started drinking that beet and orange juice combined,
never had it.
Yeah, beet, and because the orange kind of killed, because you know how beet sometimes can taste like kind of earthy. Sometimes they're sweet but kind of earthy. If you juice a few oranges with it, that kind of will cut the taste a little bit.
Okay.
With carrots and a green apple and piece of ginger.
Yeah, that too. I love my ginger. I love my ginger.
Beetroot, carrots, a green apple, and piece of ginger. That's good.
Yeah. I love my ginger. But does anybody have any more questions while we have Mr. Gregory on here?
Mr. Jackson,
trying to get all the questions from you while we can.
Hey, why not? Why not?
Could you shed some light as to what parents can use for children with sickle cell? I have a granddaughter who has sickle cell. Just 2 days ago, she had a crisis. Someone else on the line put up what you would recommend for a child with sickle cell anemia.
I would have to research that. Like different ball game almost entirely. And the one thing I would like to mention, and I just thought of this, but they give babies the MMR vaccine. That's measles, mumps, and rubella.
Yeah.
Well, they found out that it increases the number of Black male with autism.
Wow.
And you can look that up on GaryNull.com too. He has a lot of articles up there, and they're very definitive, and he gets his information from the Library of Medicine and reputable sources. But hey, they give those vaccines to the kids just as soon as they're born, and if you can at all stop them, hey, stop them from getting that MMR, especially the young black males.
Mm. Mm. I hope you guys are taking notes of all these things. And, if you miss anything, you can always go back and listen to, listen over the.
Yeah, we always go back and replay it.
This is some real we're getting in here. Good information.
Sometimes I can roll pretty good, but.
What about eczemas?
Yes.
Eczema. Well, I just read something on it, but I can't pull it up right now. Eczema. It's something.
Yeah.
I'll have to look that one up.
Okay.
Y'all got me taking notes now.
Yes, and you mentioned that you do consultations. What kind of consultations do you do?
Well, first of all, before you treat anybody with herbs, you find out what medications they've had, what kind of illnesses they've had in life, and what kind of illnesses maybe mother and father had. It's all important because, they say certain things run in families, but really, if you look at it, they did a study and families eat basically 10 foods, the same 10 foods. So if you eat the same thing and the families get the same diseases, it's not hereditary, it's from what you eat sometimes,
It's time, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's good.
Yes. So I just to reiterate, First Lady asked the questions, any tips on weight loss? I don't know if she saw that. He answered that before he spoke on intermittent fasting and some things, because she has to go back and forth, so she might not have saw that.
Oh, yeah. Well, basically, intermittent fasting, you can put as much time as you can in between dinner and breakfast. 12 to 15 hours is good.
Yeah.
And also, they say intermittent fasting increases your lifespan. But this is what the First Lady will really get a kick out of. This was mentioned on a podcast today, on Gary Knowles' podcast. And if you go to the archive and press number 1, it'll be there, that show today. But they said people who continually go to church on a regular basis live longer.
Amen.
Really?
And this is a study that they did following thousands of people over a decade.
Okay.
Sometimes longer.
Okay.
Yep.
Wow.
Every day.
Well, I mean, I didn't expect that one, but it showed up. Yes, indeed.
Well, that's interesting. So, Brother Gregory, is there anything else that you may have missed or that you want to reiterate or nuggets
Well,
or resources?
I'm gonna go back to the weight loss. Regular exercise can alleviate that. And you ever hear of Tai Chi and Qigong and all that? Those are practices that people do. I've seen it over in China because I was stationed there for a while. And, you see them out early in the morning doing their thing. And I'm talking about groups of 40 and 50, they're out there doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And Tai Chi and Qigong slow rhythmic movements and stuff like that. They have different purposes, but you also have what you call Qigong masters. And there was one Qigong master who supposedly documented, and he lived to be about 253 years old.
What?
Yep. So look it up. You can look that up on the internet too, because I thought it was phenomenal, and I was looking for a Qigong class.
My dad does Tai Chi.
Yeah.
And gets up at like 5 o'clock in the morning on Saturdays. But you gotta have good balance for that too, because you could fall right over.
But you get it by doing that. That's what I'm saying. You start out, and you get better as you go along, you know. And there are also certain practitioners who can control their chi, you know, and that's something not talked about in Western medicine. But the you know, they're coming to admit more now about the healing touch. People have like Reiki masters and stuff like that, you know, and you know, I've never dealt with Rishi, or what do you call it, Rishi? Yeah, but I've never dealt with it. But there's a lot of stuff that, you know, supposedly about the human touch. So like when people are in love, they end up touching each other. A woman always put her foot on you. You know what I mean? No, I'm not kidding. Like when my daughter was a baby, I worked at night, you know. So when I came in, it'd be about 7 in the morning. The wife would get up and put the baby in bed with me. And next thing you know, I feel that little foot, you know. And she would do that, and when she got that foot on you, she's comfortable, you know. Well, that's her touch, you know. Yeah, but babies love it, you know, and you can't raise a baby without touching them, you know, and that's the way it is, you know. When people who are in solitary, they call it inhuman, you know. You're in solitary confinement. That's what they did to those war prisoners. They wouldn't let them hear another human's voice, you know, let alone touch. They wouldn't even hear nobody's voice.
Wow.
Yes, well, this was a whole bunch of information, and let this be your start. You know, everybody, don't let it just be the, you know, the beginning and the end. Let it be your start. I hope that, you know, Brother Gregory gave you some nuggets to start, like to do your own research and to see what works for your body and what your body needs, you know, what your body, you know, and he put his information so that you can contact him. I would just say, let's take our health seriously. You know, like, we can't always be reactive.
Yeah.
You're right. I met a Rastafarian down in Jamaica, and he said, look, he said, you don't have to get mad, just outlive your enemies. I went, oh boy. I was like, that's interesting, you know. That's the first time I ever heard anything like that, but you got a point.
Yeah. And especially like when you have children and a family, you know, we need to be here. You know, we can't, you know, just be carelessly taking care of, you know, not taking care of ourselves. Like Apostle has mentioned before, you know, some people will ask prayer for healing. And then when you get healed, don't go do the same thing.
Exactly.
You know, don't go back and do the same thing. You know,
that's right.
Take that chance and do better. You know, be a walking testimony, you know.
Well, that's why I had cancer twice. I mean, to tell you.
Because you didn't listen the first time.
No. Hey, look, I got the word though. I got the word now.
But you had a stronger testimony now because of it. So now you can tell everybody.
Yeah.
Amen.
You know, you could tell everybody. But yeah, we know it's the hour is getting later for you as well. And we just want to thank you so much for all of this information, and thank you for giving contacts. You know, if people want more information, way that they can reach out. Um, Sister Janelle, did you have anything else that you wanted to add?
I just want to let the listening audience know that remember that our bodies are the temple of the Lord, and God give us guidelines to follow on how to take care of this body and what we should eat and what we shouldn't eat. Do not tell me not to eat chocolate. I ain't hearing that part.
Chocolate is an
Well,
antioxidant, so you are right.
well, first of all, anything 70% or above is actually good for you.
All right, so I'm good.
It is. It
But
is.
70% chocolate doesn't taste like milk chocolate.
Right.
No, that's the dark
It's a
chocolate.
different taste, but a little bit, it helps your cognitive development.
Yes. So you see, Sister Nessa, we on the right track. I'm calling her out.
So you,
Yeah.
yeah, so we all good
And
with that.
maintain your healing, maintain, eating healthy makes you feel good about yourself. When you look in the mirror, you feel good about yourself. um do what you gotta do to ensure that you don't have to be running towards the doctors too much, spending too much of money. I mean, to say eating healthy could be a little costly, but we could, see how we can find ways to ensure that we maintain our healing by eating right, buying the right foods. And Minister Davina, thank you so much for that rhyme. In terms of, I'm gonna pay a little closer attention to.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, when I go to get stuff, I'll pay closer attention to that, because honestly, I never really heard about that digit number thing before. Um, yes, yes, Apostle. I eat dark chocolate as well as the other chocolate as well. Also,
Moderation, okay? Moderation.
yes, in moderation, right? So we thank you again, Mr. Jackson, for
Thank you. I,
sharing.
I'm really honored, and I'm glad I could share a little something that might help you out.
I must say I enjoyed listening to you talk. I could just imagine just sitting down and hearing a lot of stories, and the little phrases that you were putting in, you're going to change what it was.
Change horses in the middle of the
Yeah,
stream.
Oh, yes.
yes, change horses in the middle of the stream.
I'm going to use that one.
Yeah. Yeah, so it was really delightful hearing you tonight and sharing, your knowledge. I thank you again for, gracing us with your presence.
More than welcome, and I'm gonna go home and look up eczema.
Yes,
Yes, please. I need to know that as well.
All righty.
Yes.
Have a blessed one, and thank you very much.
Okay, but what 1 second, we're just gonna wrap up. Yeah, we can release you because I know you have to go with announcements and everything. So thank you so much, Brother Gregory. Have a blessed night.
since
Appreciate it.
Okay. Now, just wrapping up everything. If you would like to give to the women's ministry, we are planning the Trinidad conference. We're also going to do a back to school drive when they're there. If you would like to give
Trinidad
to the women's
conference. We're
ministry,
also going to do a back to school drive when they're there.
First
If
Lady,
you would
can you
like
mute?
to give to the conference, we're also going to
Yeah, we would if you would like to give to the ministry, our giving information is on the top of the screen. If you are somewhere and this giving information doesn't work for you,
of the
message First
screen.
Lady or
If you
myself,
are somewhere
and
and
we'll
this
get
giving
some
information
alternate giving information
doesn't
to
work for
you.
you, message First Lady or
We
myself.
also have coming up this week, we have the there's no New York this week, right?
no New York.
Okay. So we have our Baltimore service on Sunday. We also at noon, we have our Trinidad service. On Sunday at 9 a.m. On Tuesday, we have prayer. Wednesday, we have Bible study or prayer, wherever the Spirit leads. And then we're back around to Friday again with the women's ministry. This Friday is our end of the month, so that also is another prayer service. First Lady, did you have anything that you wanted to add? You mute, First Lady.
I don't think.
You mute, First Lady.
Oh. I don't think I can add too much because I get a little feedback with this phone. Sorry, I'm
Minister
accustomed
Janelle,
using
try to mute. We'll both mute, First Lady, and see if that helps.
I'm accustomed using the laptop. Okay, so laptop. Sorry. I just wanted to just. Okay, so laptop. Sorry. I just wanted to just. Laptop. Sorry. I just wanted to. Let me just say good night. God bless. Good night. Sorry. I just wanted to. Let me just say good night. It was
Good.
so powerful. It was really, really. I don't know. I learned a lot. But good night. God bless.
Okay, on that note. And also, I am going to post on our health page for FOLM. I'm going to post the thing for the organic, how to know when you're in the grocery store what is and what isn't. Even if you have some questions later on, you can post them on our health page and we'll try to get back with Brother Gregory, or if one of us knows the answer, we'll try to get back to you. So we just want to thank everybody for coming out. Hope you guys got as much from this as we did. And until next time, we'll see you later. Have a blessed night.
Bye. Blessings, everyone.